ugh, when you film on your phone, people call and they interrupt an entire 10-minute talk. So guys, it's me, Shaw360, and this is my review for Jonghyun's Poet Artist album. I had to wait a while to be able to do this review because I wanted to wait until I had the physical album in hand so I could talk about the physical package as well as the music. There are some other things I need to talk about as well, but because a lot of the other things I need to talk about would make this video 30 minutes, I'm going to actually break this up into two videos. I have the one video here where I'll be talking about the music, and then on my other channel I'll be doing a video where I talk about kind of the aftermath of Jonghyun's passing. So let's just talk about the music here. And just so you guys know, I didn't look up the lyrical translations of the songs on this album, and I didn't do that because I didn't want to let the lyrics be read as anything other than what they were. And by that I mean, after Jonghyun passed, a lot of people took the lyrics from his songs that had been released before, and they were making certain interpretations and saying, well, this was a secret message for this, that, and the other. I don't want to do that in this video, so I decided not to look up English translations. I'm just going to talk about the actual music, how it sounds to me, how it makes me feel, what I see in my mind's eye. So hopefully you can appreciate that. So let's start out with the actual packaging itself. This is Jonghyun's Poet Artist album. If you buy this album, you can see the sticker right here is on the outside of the plastic. If you decide to save this sticker, you might just want to cut it out of the plastic and tuck it into your album, because I peeled the sticker off of my copy, and as you can see, touching it, it fades really easily, so please be careful of that. Now let's talk about format. I took the slipcase off of mine because my slipcase actually was cut fairly funny, and it caused it to have kind of a warping on the inside part of the slipcase. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I took it off to be able to do this review, but the design is very much like the design for Taemin's Ace for Jonghyun's Bass being his first solo release. And I found that to be a great artistic choice. I really don't know how much of Jonghyun was involved in making that artistic choice, because there are a couple of recycled elements here. For instance, this saying at the bottom, after watching Shaw 5's album unboxing, I found out that this was actually something that was in the liner notes for the Blue Note Radio album. So that was something that came out, what, year and a half, 2 years ago perhaps? This is not new, this saying down here. So because of that, I don't know if Jonghyun actually anticipated putting out this album to look like this, or if he had another artistic vision in mind. But I find it to be very comforting to have the beginning and the end match up. Then inside of the slipcase, it says Jonghyun, and then here it says Brothers and Sisters in Christ, which when you abbreviate that, it is basic. I do not know what this means in context to Jonghyun, because as far as we could tell, he seemed like he was more of an agnostic than any other kind of religion. But at the same time, his family, from what I've understood, were religious, so perhaps this was a personal choice. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be about the name of his charity that the family is starting. I really don't know. So if anybody else has any information about that, please let me know. But that is your slipcase here, along with, there you go, and the track listing on the bottom of the slipcase. Then the CD itself, orange. It's got the same saying on the front of the CD, as you can see, and then Poet Artist, and then in the back it just says Jonghyun. Inside of the CD you have your white CD here with orange writing, and you have the booklet that has the same saying on it. And inside the book are several pictures. Very simple font. It's not anything extreme. It matches all the font on the outside of the album. Everything is very consistent. The photos, you have a mixture of photos from the video for Shinin', and you also have more studio photos. And all the studio photos tend to have draping in the back. But then you get to the best part of this packaging, being these two pictures here. And these are a collage of photos from Jonghyun writing music, performing his music on stage for people, practicing for his performances, and being with the other members of SHINee and celebrating their accomplishments as a group. And the very last photo in this album is this photo here of Jonghyun with the Shawa Army, or not Army, the Shawa Ocean. I don't know why. Something happened yesterday, so now Army's on my mind. Forgive me. The only negative thing I have to say about this album, and it's not really a negative, but it's just something that packaging wise I wasn't too jazzed about. I don't know if you can see, there's a glue strip that runs underneath this last page, and it makes it to where when you go to open to see this picture, it's like it's stuck. It doesn't open all the way because it's glued to the cover. And that's a small nitpick. It really is, but it is something I wanted to note for anybody who has this. Be very careful, because if you try to open this page all the way, you might risk tearing the book off. So be very, very careful. So now that we've talked about the packaging, let's talk about the music. This is a great album. I think a lot of us anticipated an album that was very much matching the stylistic tone of Story Op 2. Maybe we thought we were going to get something with a lot of ballads, maybe stuff with more melancholy or, subdued tone. That's not what this album is. This album was released as Jonghyun, the solo performer that we saw in Bass, that we saw in She Is, the Jonghyun from SHINee. This is a Jonghyun who gave us sexy, sensual songs, who gave us Latin pop inspired songs, who gave us songs that have his jazz elements to it, his kind of quiet storm elements to it. It is a reflection of everything that Jonghyun has liked as a songwriter, everything he's liked as a music lover, everything he's been as a vocalist. He shows every single style of singing he's ever done in this album. You can start with the song Sightseeing. Sightseeing sounds like the Jonghyun that you heard on Beautiful Tonight. And it's definitely, in my mind's eye, the soundtrack to Jonghyun's trip to Tokyo from One Fine Day. Then you can listen to Only One You Need, and you can hear where he's exploring a different texture to his voice. Maybe he was going to a new place, but he's still very much in his own element, but he's also exploring a different timbre to his voice, and it's not as velvet glove as you're used to hearing. Then you have the Jonghyun in Just for a Day, who is exploring the Latin pop side of his sound, a Latin pop side that we haven't seen since the Amigo album. And again, it sounds perfect and it's right on time. Then you have Take the Dive, which has this kind of underwater ambient sound, and Jonghyun is flying along in it too. There were a couple of parts in that song though where I felt like the production didn't quite match the vocals, but overall it paints a picture in your mind's eye that you can't help but want to fall in love. And then you have Shining, which on a very basic Shawa emotional level, that was the song and music video I needed. I needed to hear him say always be with you, and I needed to have him say it in a way that looks towards a brighter day, a brighter future, the positive moments that we've shared in the past, that took away and stripped down all of the sadness, all of the grief, all of the pain, and left you with something bright and beautiful and encouraging. And front to back, this album in no way, in my opinion, alludes to maybe the personal turmoil he was going through, perhaps in Before Our Spring, which we'll talk about that in a second. But the rest of the album, it was a Jonghyun who's very much saying, I still want to be a part of your life. I don't want to give you an album full of songs that make you cry, and then every time you hear it, you get sad, so you don't want to hear this music over and over again. He gave you a soundtrack to your life. He gave you an album that you can play on your car trip, that you can play when you get off work and you want to listen to something that soothes you, that you can play it while you're doing your homework, that you can play it when you're just needing something to listen to in the background. Heck, you can listen to Only One You Need while you're on the treadmill. It works. Like, seriously, it works. And that's because he still wanted to be there. Maybe mentally he exhausted himself and he felt like he couldn't be here in the physical. But his music, he wanted that to stay with you. And this album is full of ways that Jonghyun is trying to find a place in your life. He's trying to be a part of every moment that you have. And then there's Before Our Spring, because, you know, in every life a little rain must fall. And even though this is by far the most ballady, the most, I don't want to say depressed, but definitely the most sad sounding song on the album, it still has this lilt at the end of every musical phrase. It seems like, but this can turn around too. This is not the end. It doesn't have to end on a completely sad note. I know that you don't feel it, and I know that you're not happy, but this can turn around. It starts out with this wonderful piano intro, like one of the best piano intros I've heard for a song in a long time. But Jonghyun's voice, clear as a bell, perfect falsetto. It just feels like he's like, I know you're hurting. I'm hurting too, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And that is the message I needed from him. And for him to have the forethought to make sure I had that message, there's not enough ways I can say thank you to SM, Jonghyun's mother, to Jonghyun himself for giving this to me. It is something that I will treasure for a long time. And I hope that some of you will treasure it for a long time too, because I am giving away a copy of Jonghyun's Poet Artist on this, my main Show All 360 channel. And this giveaway is super easy. I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm not asking you to give me likes. I'm not asking you to check me out on Twitter, even though all these things are optional. All I want is for you to share a happy moment with Jonghyun. Whether it is a song that you loved, whether it is seeing him in person, whether it is a fun moment you had with a friend and Shiny was playing in the background, below, please give me one of your moments where Jonghyun was with you in your life. And the winner has to be from the United States, unfortunately, because international shipping is a monster and I can't really do it at this time. And you have to be of an age to where your parents won't call the police on me if I send you something in the mail, because that shit happens and I'm not trying to go to jail. But yes, be in the United States, and the deadline for this giveaway is going to be the end of February. So February, the last day of February is the last day to enter this competition, or giveaway, sorry. Enter the giveaway, and then I will try to announce the winner towards the beginning of March. So yes, you have until the end of February to enter my giveaway so that you can win a lovely copy of Jonghyun's Poet Artist. Along with that, I will be giving you one of the freebies I got from Music Plaza. I got these really cute cards from Music Plaza. Jonghyun on the front, Jonghyun on the back. I also got this, which I don't know how I feel about this freebie, but I'll take it. It is a Jonghyun Poet Artist pen, which I'm sure that Music Plaza had commissioned. I don't think this is official. But yeah, you'll be getting these things if you win this album. So I hope that you enjoyed this review. I hope it was something that didn't put any of you in a bad place, because I know some of you are still out there and you're still pretty fragile. And I hope it's something that you can look to give you encouragement if you haven't checked out the album because you've been worried that it isn't something you could take right now. I really hope you can. I really hope you can listen to this album. I think it would be beneficial to your healing. And also, again, I just don't want people to forget Jonghyun. And if you can't listen to him, it's going to be difficult to remember him. So please listen. Please encourage your friends to listen. Please enjoy Jonghyun, the poet, the artist. Thank you. Bye, guys.